Okay, so starting the test for the Kitsch-Bent parts. So this is the first test. This is just Kitsch-Bent through and through, gear, bowl, stick, all in a the normal Nintendo housing. Bye bye White Ted, thank you. So dead zone. So there's like little dead zone to this. But it feels like it's very easy to move left to right, but it feels spongy, you know, so it's not loose, but it's still kind of there. The X and Y are sitting off. I suppose you could try and get into center, but it's not really that. I mean, there you go. Odd. But you know, they'll always go back to the middle. I doubt that will produce a response in game, but we'll see when we test out on my. Okay, so range is looking solid. Obviously, there's some deficits to the left side and down. Going up there. Okay. Enough of that. Again, that's a very typical shape that you'll see with Nintendo 64 controller. That doesn't look bad actually. Right, let's do this. This is the one now. Range. I mean, that's a good shape. Right and up are basically perfectly ranged out. Down and left, they're still respectable. It's not like the worst thing in the world. As you can see when we go on to the new and original. Very kind of similar. Again, holds the kind of the shape that you want. It's probably going to be a lot more the same. What I'll do is when I'm doing it, I'll go up, center, top right, center, bottom right, center, and so on and so forth. I'll do that with all the tests. I mean, that up and right is just perfect, really. That's what you really want. And you know, it's saying that the centers are okay as well, which is you want that. Do a couple more just for the right up. Kind of not necessary. It's very consistent actually, which is good because you know if you're going to be playing on a stick, you want the feel of it to be consistent. So it's good to see that we're getting the same score repeatedly. And for the price of the parts, you know, you'd be hard pressed to find better value. That's for sure. Good. Right. Okay, let's jump into some testing. We'll play some GE. You know, I've hit some of the usual haunts. You know, train locks, do some archives, because they just provide a nice overall view of the state of play. Because they were quite good movement. Let's just jump straight. Let's do some archives first. I mean, you know, the feel of the stick is very smooth. There's no like resistances anywhere. Oh, I forgot this. Well, this is the practice roll. I'm not very good. Yeah, let's get off this one actually. I want to be on 10th levels from start to finish. Let's do the U. Hopefully it saved it in 1.2, but if it's not. not bad. Feels it's not the worst feeling ever. Kind of feels like the stick's a bit short. It is a little bit down in there actually. Just comparing that to a Steel Stick 64 ball and brass gears. I mean, it's, you know, I mean, you could argue that's quite a kind of strong comparison to make. You know, in terms of difference. That movement was pretty nice there. Yeah, I mean, not bad. It feels like there's almost like the sensitivity is a little bit off, but let's try another level. But then it's really hard to kind of say. I mean, playing, I reckon you could get a nice PB with using the full setup Kitsch-Bent. Let's try something that requires a bit more of a kind of solid movement here. Yeah, so when turning to the left, you can definitely feel that range of movement being a bit off. I think I might be on Asian here, but see, like when I'm just trying to edge to the left, it's not picking up the signal that well. When I'm looking right and up though, it feels nice. Doesn't feel horrible though. It's kind of like there's a bit of like the zone around where you start to turn, where you like if you're trying to make very slight movements, it doesn't seem to really be picking up on it. I mean, let's hit the train. Let's see how we do here, because this is a really good test here. It's got everything. I'm playing it on the American version, so it's going to be really bad. Oh my god. Again, not going to be here. This is not good. Maybe I just want to get some logs. I mean, moving through the train doesn't feel that bad. Oh my god. Classic train. And making kind of those little movements was, isn't too, like, horrible. Right, let's try the legs out. Not that bad at all. I mean, you know, there is something to be said about picking up a new set of gears, getting used to a new kind of play style. Because everything, all different types of gears, different wear, you know, it all affects the play. And at the end of the day, you need to remember it's about what feels good for you. And I remember very specifically at the Britney, I donated Dan a controller with the Kitsch-Bent parts in it. And he really liked it, and I'll tell you what, I actually enjoyed the session on it. It didn't feel like too bad to play with. I mean, obviously I prefer my setup, of course, you know. Everyone does. But it just doesn't feel bad. Try this again. These logs feel nice. Not bad at all. Very playable with the finer movements. Yeah, I mean the things set up on their own just feels good, you know. Right, let's do some silo, because that's like a non-stop for a ride really. In which it does require just a lot of big movements, you know, as well as small ones. I mean, really, you know, it's kind of hard to fault for the price. I mean, for the price, they're incredible quality. See, moving through there just feels really good. It doesn't feel like I'm over extending on the stick, trying to make up for like lost inputs or anything like that, or even lost inputs, but just movements that I'm not overcompensating for movements that I feel so like. I'm not forcing any movements. So there have been previous gears that I've tested where I feel like I'm forcing the movements out of it. Like I'm trying to like make sure I'm getting on like the right lines and shit. I mean, I'm honestly quite impressed with these. More impressed than I thought I'd be. By Bunker War. I mean, I don't really know how much testing we need to do with the full set. I think they're a solid 8 out of 10 to be fair. Maybe like an 8.5 even. Maybe not 8.5, maybe like an 8.2, because they do feel like they just feel nice to play with. I don't feel like I'm trying too hard to play. Let's try and get a run where I'm doing outer route. Got there in the end. Let's not do that. What's another level? Caverns is a good one. That requires a lot of big movements and a lot of little movements as well. I mean, they just feel good to play with, you know. I mean, there is that little bit of sluggishness when you're trying to do like smaller type movements. You have to like try to push a little bit harder than you normally would, I feel. But I personally like a more sensitive stick. I prefer a more sensitive stick, so for me that's a bit of a downside. The fact that I need to engage the movement, I need to push a little bit more at the beginning. But it's a very small complaint. A very small complaint. Again, you can get a sort of tight movements in there. Let's try and do this spiral like super tight. You can get like tight on those lines. I mean, obviously you can get those mini stucks in there. But I think, you know, this is a set of sticks that you can actually get really used to playing with. Again, that little sensitivity gauge I'm working on there. I would say the sensitivity around the edge is very low. But once you engage in the movement, it feels fine. Let's do one more. Let's do runway. Just test some hut. Oh, that feels weird. Maybe it's because I'm not in full speed, I don't know. That is not the worst, but it's weird in that hut, I have to say. Again, I mean, with the hut, it's a lot of small movements that require you to move in a very See, it's not bad at all. That's a decimal for that accuracy. But that's the thing. You could get a 22 with this. Yeah, I think I personally find these a good like 82 out of 100. Shooting 85 depending on the user. It's not bad at all. Really not that bad at all. Quite enjoyable actually. Would probably recommend this to a lot of players actually, even if maybe not someone that's used to the stick being a certain way. Like for example, I like my stick quite sensitive, and I'm not getting that sensitivity around the tight edges. But general movement is really good when I'm turning around. It feels good. I'm not overcompensating with my thumb. I'm not tensing. It's a very kind of really nice kind of playable experience. I think, you know, the whole unit together is really nice. So yeah, actually very impressed. Good start. OEM stick with OEM gears and OEM bolt. And the OEM's like 8 to 9 out of 10, pushing 10 out of 10. It's very good. So initial impressions, it's using the glow in the dark stick for the lols. Actually no, it's just using the clear stick. Oh no, it's using the glow in the dark stick. Those that are interested, the glow in the dark maybe lasts 5 minutes tops. Actually, probably a little bit lower than 5 minutes. It's kind of gimmicky. But it's cool though, you know. It's cool to see for the first time, but it's not like you're not getting a glow in the dark experience for like hours on end. You're not going to have a sesh for like 6 hours in the night and just glow in the dark. It doesn't stay glow in the dark for that long. But you know, the stick looks cool. It's cloudy. Yeah, dead zone and like wobbles quite pronounced actually. So for example, that's me just barely touching it. Oh, that's the same up and down as well. It's worse left and right than it is up and down. So let's have a look at these. No, it's dead center when you're just flicking it. Really good start. 83 at the top. I mean, ranges are looking tasty, but you got to remember this is mostly just down to the bowl and the gears. That the ranges are so good. I mean, the stick obviously kind of helps to a degree, but you can get a replacement stick, whack it in this. Good. Do the radial testing. I mean, again, I just kind of yeah. It's what it is. Okay, so this is basically going to tell us what we already know. Interesting though. So the top, it's more kind of compact at the edges there, like at the top corners compared to the new and original. Let me do it again, but let me do it back to the center after every input. Again, that's more like it's looking good. I mean, there's really not too much to say about this. The stick just exemplifies. It just kind of shows that like, oh, you can put it in some OEM gears and bowl, and you're going to be getting the same ranges. So I'll probably just kind of skip that. I'll move straight on to GoldenEye. So I mean, the feel of the stick is good. It's like that smooth plastic that the OEM kind of has, so it's not like harsh on your thumb. Basically, what you want with the stick. The drift or anything. I mean, obviously there's that dead zone, but it's not forcing it to do any drift. And some archives. Oof, that feels weird. Maybe just because we've gone from Kitsch-Bent to the perfectly ranged OEM parts and I'm like swinging all over the place.
Ooh.
I think it's just because I'm bad at playing the game rather than the parts of shit. Use my language. One thing I have noticed, let me just compare this here. So this is something that I said in a previous review with the full KB parts thing, but it does look like that they have made this stick slightly fatter and slightly shorter than OEM. Or for whatever reason, it's just falling into the bowl more, giving the illusion that it's shorter. Oh, that's a shame. That's a fairly good start. Guess we're going that way. The rare Nat Complete. Or the rare Nat. Let's do one more. We're going to train, try it out there. Should be able to fit through there. What about a mystery? I mean, it feels okay. Let's just try and get one archives complete where it's not just like a complete fail. Oh. Well, you can make the movements that you're parting in, which is good. Maybe it's the dead zone, find me up or something. Let's do train. It doesn't feel like easy to play with this stick. You know, it just feels really like it's like the OEM parts are throwing the advantage of the stick. We'll find out in a minute. I mean, the locks are fine. They feel perfectly fine to complete. You can get that movement that you need. I don't feel like I'm struggling too hard. I don't know, it just that wobble that it has by default in the middle isn't great. And the stick feels plasticky, you know. Where's the boost? Random. I mean, that's one thing. The stick feels plasticky. It doesn't. It's not like the OEM. It feels like dense. It feels softer. Like the plastic is softer than an OEM stick, and it does kind of throw you off a bit. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, the setup. I mean, all the parts together. I'd maybe rate this like. See, look at that. That you can't get a really quick turn that you need there. And having that sensitivity is something that you really need in a stick, especially if you're speedrunning. Like, God, it's like so required. And something as easy as like that is just... like a quick turn, like a quick snap. What other levels have a quick snap like that? Let's try a couple of cabs runs. Because with Raw, it's really difficult just getting a snap to the door. I mean, I know not a lot of people do it. But for the sake of... I'll behave. Oof, trying to get these tight corners in does not feel very good. It's a very unlucky boost there. It wasn't the worst run ever, but I don't know, there's something about having to quickly snap. It feels like it just doesn't want to do it. I mean, it's not the worst. See, like there, you need to have a quick turn back there, and I may have been playing it a little bit optimally. It just doesn't feel comfortable to do. And there as well, I'm really like fucking struggling there. Again, disclaimer, this has come from someone that likes a very tight stick. Very quick response time. You know, I like to be able to just jump straight to it straight away. See, that was a bit better. I think that's the thing. I think with this stick, it's something that you could get used to. See, look at that. That right turn. That left, right, left. It feels like I am struggling a bit with that. See, again, trying to get out that door isn't very clever. I think you could do it with enough practice to get used to the stick, but as just someone that's coming from unlike someone who comes from a sensitive stick, it's a very great response. It's not very comfy. Let's try one more thing. Let's try Frigate Agent. Do some reverse sausages, because that is a snappy. Shout out to fucking Ted resetting this to 2.3. Again, that didn't feel too bad at all. As you set this up to always be in 2.3. Oh my god. These snappy movements are difficult with this stick. Like an actual legitimate challenge. It's not the worst. Again, it's not the worst thing in the world, but it's something to take note of. It's something that someone will need to get used to. I mean, casually, these are great. I mean, if I was to just use this casually, this is the perfect replacement. I mean, and that's the thing, you can still get a good back out of there. These aren't bad. Again, this whole setup together, great casually, great for speed running, maybe give it like an 80, maybe a 79. Because of that sharp movement, you just can't really get there. But overall, I still think it's good. You know, it's a fairly good replacement stick, although I wouldn't choose it over OEM any day. Yeah, and of course you got the wobble, which it was probably one of the reasons why I can't get the snappy movements, because I'm experiencing that wobble on the stick. I'll do one more run. Man. That stuck was, I mean, the worst. 78 to 80, 81, I think. Okay, so next test is PB bowl, OEM gears, and OEM stick. It's basically all original parts apart from the bowl. I'll put anything there. Okay. The X-axis. Unless you manually do it, it's pretty hard to. I mean, the feel of it feels good. It feels a bit more grindy than normal, but it doesn't feel unpleasant. And there is some wobble there, quite pronounced. Let's see it. And it's not spongy either. Saying it is loose. 87 up, 89. Insane. And then 77 to the right, 84 down. Okay. What the hell? Look at that range. So high up, what's so weird? You can actually. Have a look at the Let's see. It's okay. I mean, I'd definitely say that you could easily play with this. I mean, it feels okay. Bit boxy. I mean, the optimal range, but it's not like the most obscene world. The up is extremely like large, like the range on that. I don't know why. That is a bit more reasonable, but look at the right sensitivity, it's so bad. Let me do this again. I'm gonna really push in every direction. Really push into right there. I mean, you can hit that 80-point range if you're pushing, but it's just in GE. Like I said, the feel of it. Bear with me just one moment. Okay, let's do some GE. I mean, it feels okay. It feels a little bit kind of grainy, but it's nowhere near as bad as the other combination. I was quite sandy. I need to see what we can do. There's no drifting. It's really just a very good start. Always start on archives. Does feel odd.
Ooh.
Oh, wow, okay. There's a nice little right, left, right. Doesn't feel too bad. So based on archives, looking at maybe like 80, solid 80. The bowl is really hurting the quick movement here. I have a feeling it's because of the sensitivity, the range on the right and left. Because you expect to turn the same way right as you do left. I mean, that's I guess that's an important thing about range. You want to feel it the same left and right. You don't want it. You don't want one side to be more favored than the other, especially when you're going up or down. Overall, though, it doesn't feel too bad. I am being quite critical. It's weird. It seems to me that on their own, all these parts are quite good. But when you start combining them, they get a bit weird. It just seems difficult to pull off that quick left and right. It seems like it doesn't want to play ball that much. I mean, that's something you can hit. Possibly. Leave that tip. That is due to the stick being kind of stiff. rather than me not turning left, right, left quick enough. Like, I've played enough at this level to know how quickly you should be doing that. I should be hitting that. Again, that kind of left, right. When you turn right, you expect to get the same feedback left. It just doesn't feel like it's that much. It's not like fully there. And like you have to just like remember. Oh, that wasn't much, but this is finally getting used to the kind of the way the stick works. If you have that extreme look down on this level, turning it a little easier. But usually, you know, it's possible to play this level with more look up. Because it's, at the end of the day, you need to like Natalia. If we do one more run, then we'll do some Sideline. Silence the real one. That will expose any weaknesses. And to be fair, I mean, I would say this is a strongly average combat. I would say if you're looking for replacement arms, cheap, no frills. See what I mean? Okay, one more. I want to get 17 of these because I feel like it's possible. Jesus. Yeah, I'm like straining to get that left-right fluid. It's difficult. It feels like a long way from left to right, if you know what I mean. But overall, not bad for Archives 2. I think you could get a 16 again, but you require a lot of dedication to getting used to the setup. It's not something you can plug in and just be like, oh, it's going to be perfect for you. I think people may like that. Some people may not like that. There is like a big difference from going from like left to right. Oh god. Okay. 2 seconds behind now. I mean, we're getting to the end of the level, which is good. It's okay. The left-right movement is a bit tricky though. It's a bit stiff, but it's manageable. Okay, we can try and unwrap it. I think, yeah. The left right's good, to say the least. Not comfortable, and it's not. I mean, that's the thing. The up and down feels quite fluid. It's just the left and right I'm kind of having troubles with. Oh, a little bit here. Up and down to right. Very grindy on the left and right. Oh, weird. Okay, well, honestly, I think they're in the high 70s. The left and right feels too grindy. One side has more edge than the other, so, and it really comes out in the gameplay because you're going to overcompensate a lot. But overall, if you just wanted a bowl to stick in your stuff that you already have, I think it will actually do the job. That's why it's at that low 70. I don't think it'll be an 80 just because of the inconsistencies going left and right, but I think it's solid. It's solid enough for you to just stick in your stuff. If you just need a cheap replacement to like a controller that you love, you don't want to buy a whole new one, this will do the job. Okay, so this is OEM bowl, OEM stick, Kitsch-Bent gears. So this is just like probably the most standard that's going to be done, you know. I just need to replace my gears, they've worn down. Feels good, sounds good. Let's go to control test. I have a sneaking suspicion that this is going to be a classic, like, oh, the ranges aren't great, but it feels good. I mean, look at that. It sounds like a fucking Nintendo 64 controller. It sounds good. And a bit off center there. Oh, if you push it up a little bit, it goes a bit off center, but good up. Okay, right. Good down. Yeah, we're in the ranges. We're in a good zone. I mean, that's good, man. That's really good. Like, really good. Do this quickly. That's almost nice and equal all the way around. No doubt down to the bowl and the stick being good. Let's do a couple more of these. I mean, moving them around feels really nice. I mean, maybe the big plasticky... God, look at that. That just looks really good. I mean, maybe that plasticky feel comes from the bowl more than anything. Because I don't like it. You don't get that plasticky feel with just the gears on their own. That explains a lot. I mean, look at that. That's basically what you want. Very good start. Pressing GE. Test some levels. Feels nice. It feels nice. And with regards to wobble, it's minimal. There's some sponge wobble, I'm calling it, where you can move the stick without pushing it, but it's not super loose. Archives, smart as always. All the best short, quick levels for knowing the movement. God, that feels good. That just plays exactly how you want it to. boost. Feels good. Feels good from the outset. Oh, that was close. But I was going for that tight door there as well. I feel like I can actually get it with these gears. That was... just feel nice. They just feel nice. Feels like I picked up the controller and it's just how I want it to feel like when I got to play. It's got a nice amount of sensitivity. Shame about the little bit of dead zone in the middle, because obviously you can overcompensate for that a little bit. It feels nice to play with. Just gonna do one more of these door opens. That's a shame. I mean, you saw how I did that first door. It's exactly what you need. And even a major error, I think if I got that, that would have been a very neat 17, which is really good to see. Let's do train. I doubt we'll have any issues here, but it's just good to go over the same levels. I mean, it moves exactly the way you want it to move. You have like an idea in your head about how you want it to move, and it doesn't move. Not under or overturning. I should put it into perspective because the text may have been a bit too generous. This is poor lag, and the lag really doesn't help as well. I'm playing on an American, so it's the inferior version. PAL, if anyone's interested, is the best version to play with. Lag is almost unbearable. This is the worst version. Right, lock time. In a good position for these as well. Lag is not on the main case here. I mean, the control is there. I mean, I'm not doing very well simply for the reason of the lag. But the locks actually feel good. I feel like, oh, the only reason I'm not hitting these locks right now is because of the lag. But it moves where I want to move. I want to go to spot, I want to do this, it does what I want it to do. There's no stick drift at all. I mean, damn, maybe I should be playing with these. Really, really nice. Hope you get slow charge. Oh, well, I didn't know. It's a slow one. Beat him to the next door. If we beat him to the next door, it'd be incredibly surprising. This is crazy. That's the thing, it's not really not that bad. Right. Oh, it just feels responsive. I feel like I'm not overcompensating or anything like that. It feels good, let's just say that. It feels nice. I feel like I'm really getting at that tightest line that I possibly can do reasonably. That was a very tight line I took there, but again, you see the line that you want to do and it just goes through very nicely. the little flick B press there. Very slightly can't see it. I'll do runway, just because that requires very fine movement at the beginning. Because the whole 22-23 second level is in the heart of the start, so. Beautiful. Great. That was great. I mean, obviously it wasn't like the best cut in the world, but the errors were down to, it was user error. Like, that was just a solid run. I would have laughed if that was a 22, but everything I wanted to do, it did it. Suited my playstyle really, really well. I mean, I don't really know what to say. I would say this is maybe an 85 to... I would say maybe we're in the 88 range for these. I mean, do I have any negatives? Could this be close to 90? Maybe this is just a bang on 90. The dead zone is a bit disappointing, but it's about feel, and that's the most important thing about buying these parts, is they need to feel good for you, and for me these feel really, really nice. We'll do some frig. I just really like that I'm not having to force anything. Oh yes, of course. Everything's in 2.3 because Whitehead is obsessed with it. His little gift to the community. Again, the little movements I want to make. A little bit off there. I'm just wondering if there's another level that has little movements like that again. Egypt might be a good metric, just because there's a few little tricks here and there. That require little kind of adjustments. I mean, this feels good, like, getting the warp first try is a very good sign, because that requires a very tight right-left movement. I mean, of course, Ari may not agree with me with that, but, you know, it is how I play it, and it works, obviously. Interestingly, there's a sort of... There's a kind of tighter tone you need to make that. I just didn't get it. Again, that angle was quite difficult, but we didn't get the shot. But like this. I would say there maybe is a slight bit of dead zone, which is hard to get some of the tighter bits of movement here. Like here, that's it. See, that's slightly harder to do, but it's very minimal. Something you get used to quite easily with these. Oh, that's slow. That didn't feel good, but... I would say there is a little bit of overcompensation there, but they still feel really good. I mean, we're talking high 80s here. We'll try one run of silo to see how we fare. I mean, maybe I'm just playing this much because I enjoy the feel of it. Fairly good pace. Ah, shame. The problem is there's too much shooting. I think that says it all though. Really good pace there. I would say I would whack this at an 89, maybe a 90. Really good. Really good. Okay, so this is a test for this is actually test 5. It's Kitsch-Bent bowl, gears, and OEM stick. Now, first thing that is really important to mention, feels grindy. It feels like there's sand in the controller, which obviously isn't great. You don't want to be feeling like there's sand in your controller. I would say it's reminiscent of N64 gears.com, kind of that POM material feeling. Just feels like the parts aren't really compatible. I mean, there's no like resistance, like it feels like it should feel. Just feels a bit rough. Ever so off center. Range, or kind of in the 70s. Very boxy. Look at that. Well boxy. Let's do the obligatory testing. Ay. Alright. It's very angled to the. Seems a little bit off on the top left, but the shape looks okay. Yeah, that's very I mean, shape isn't great. I mean, again, not the worst shape in the world. I mean, it does directions you want, but as you can see, it's nowhere near where you want it to be. That's exactly what you want it to be. Perfect all round. And it's just not like an OEM stick, which is weird. I don't know why. I'm gonna do it where I'm basically at the moment I'm entering it before every A press. So down, center, bottom left center, bottom right center. Doesn't like taking the OEM stick. Okay, well, let's fill out some goal night. Let's do a couple of runs, see how we feel. I mean, what a plasticky feel. I mean, I don't know what the Kitsch-Bent gears and parts are made of, but they're incredibly shiny and smooth. And of course, original N64 gears, they're not that shiny. There is like an element of kind of matte to them. But these are like super smooth. That makes you wonder what kind of material they're using for their parts. It feels plasticky. You can hear it. That's how I can tell. I would just desire to get some money. And feels no off, but we'll give it a bit of time. Let everything settle in it.
Ooh.
Oof. Again, similar problem with the rest of them is the kind of fine movement with it. Play some strings. Because this requires kind of like precise movement and stuff. Oof. And that's the thing, you may think there's something I'm overturning or underturning. Now, I've played a lot of Streets. So I'm using, basically, when you see me under or overturn, that's because I'm kind of basically doing what is like the correct movement for the controllers that I've been using, which I would say are very high standard. Again, it's just finding a movement these gears we struggle with. It's really creaky in the middle, and like, the amount you need to push the stick before you actually start moving is actually quite pronounced. Which is definitely a gear issue. How did I miss that BA? I must have full health. That's actually insane. The amount I'm moving this left to right and it's not registering it. That's a fact. That's all pretty good. I mean, the movement still feels solid. It just doesn't feel like quite right. It's kind of hard to explain. Again, you're having a kind of issues with sensitivity. Eh? just want to get to the end of the subway. I'm pretty sure I'm hitting it. Oh, that turn was so slow. Let's try train. It's just not happening there. These are hard to work with, I'm not gonna lie. This has probably been the most unfun out of the 3 sets I've tested so far. Again, this thing is not the worst. I know that it's fine and moving stand, but I feel like I am compensating a little bit because of the kind of weird dead design. But it's not the worst. It's just not to my preference. God, look at that. That's pronounced. I'm not touching the stick there. That's just like drift. I'll handle this. God, doing those finer movements is creaky and weird. Like I feel like the stick is creaking, like, and it's not incredibly pleasant. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not keen on it. And it means the creakiness means that you sometimes overcompensate and overturn or underturn to try and not to overcompensate. Weird. Very, very weird. Again, it's not the worst, you know. It's probably the worst out of the combination of tried. I mean, we're sitting around the high 70s again. Maybe 80s, but it's not the worst thing I've ever experienced, let's just say that. I think it's very acceptable. You know, for the money you're paying, it's very acceptable. I mean, And you can make these movements fine. Doesn't feel like bad, like at all, really. Bloody hell. Jeez. I mean, not bad. I mean, I'll probably give these maybe like an 80. That drift sucks, though. And you know at some points that may come into your gameplay, especially for tighter movements where you're trying to be, you're edging it. Maybe 79 because of the drift. And again, these gears just have a plasticky feel. But yeah, I mean, again, not bad. I think they're above average, but they're not like the best thing in the world. Okay, so this is the last test of the main set other than the steel bowl. This is OEM bowl, the Kitsch-Bent gears, and the Kitsch-Bent stick. So initial, it's very smooth together. Oh, this controller is squeaky. Just, I mean, that is the squeakiest controller. Let me just take one more screw in. I don't want to skew the result. I accidentally like. Am I gonna have to like? Oh, why not? Yeah, I mean, it feels very smooth, no resistance at all, which is really nice. It feels great. Like I would say. It feels like there's a bit of purchase going to the right, like it needs to be shaved or something, like the gears. A dead zone, as to be expected from an OEM controller. There shouldn't be any dead zone at all. A little bit there on the X, but I don't think that's come from the bowler. I think that's come from the 78 up, 78 right, 78 to 79 down. You can. I need to actually screw this down because this controller, I feel like. I just feel like I need to get it stable. Because it feels very creaky. Very fucking creaky. Use it here. This is squeaking like crazy, this controller. What the fuck? Please, hold. Okay. That screw didn't even screw in. What's happening? Screws in as well, just for oh they all screwed in. Okay, it's just a squeaky or thing. Okay, so we're going up 80, 79, 80, 84. What you really need to fucking push to get that extra bit out of it. That's very odd. Because if you're just playing it lightly, the range is very small, but you have to push to get that extra thing. I don't know why it's doing that. Like, I have a feeling it's the stick mixed with the gears. Because you need to push to get that extra out of it. If you just do it lightly, like if you're playing normally, you're in the 60s, you're in the 70s. If you fucking push it, you're in 86s, you're in 80s, all round. Very odd. And just bear in mind, I've been using this controller and these all the same parts for every single test. So maybe I haven't screwed something down properly. I don't know. It's just very bizarre happening. It just doesn't seem like it would just start to happen now unless it was combination stuff. Oh, screw. Oh, no, that was classic. Classic memes. Maybe I just haven't tied it down enough. Oh, there's another screw. I'm just flicking these screws. Oh. Okay, let's investigate. Oh, that's just a normal quality of the stick. The squeakiness is coming from the controller being squeaky, not from it's not the controller the sticks in there perfect. The stick is in there perfectly. That pushing is a quality of the stick, and I don't know why it's doing that. Really fucking weird. Yeah, very odd. That's not a good thing at all. You shouldn't have to push to get that extra range. See that? That is bad. You're getting a whole other 20 points of range. Literally a whole other 20 fucking points of range from doing that or more. It's just going left. Really odd. Right, so this is me pressing lightly like you normally would and not overextending it or anything. Look at that. It's almost perfect on every other scale apart from the right. Okay, this is me fucking push it now. I hope you don't fuck up my bowl by doing this. See, that is almost perfect. Exactly the ranges you want. But that is me pushing, which is a huge shame. Shouldn't have to push that hard to get those ranges. That's me pushing. This is me just on the controller normally, but this is me just playing the game normally. I'm missing out on all of that range there, which is completely unacceptable. Let's play some gold mine, because the thing is, the ranges are good, but I don't know why it's punishing you so much for going left. Shouldn't do. It shouldn't punish you that much. We're getting a good range out of it. Because the problem is, the harder you push, the more it grinds. I know you're moving up anyway, but it still grinds against the plastic. It's still going to push right down into it, and you're going to screw up your bowls. This is yeah, you're going to screw up your OEM bowl. So hopefully I haven't like screwed it up like.
Ooh.
That first run, I mean, the stick feels great. It feels really good, really smooth and fluid, and you know, like, oh, that is horrible. That is really bad. You shouldn't have to push that much. You can get really nice fluid movement out of the stick, but you are pushing that shit hard. Get it? Shouldn't be like that. It's a real shame. This feels like it's been like a combination of a lot. How can I recommend something that could possibly see? Look at that. I didn't get that today because I wasn't pushing hard left enough. I was just pushing what felt comfortable, what you should be pushing on this thing. You shouldn't have to fucking crank it that hard. You shouldn't have to crank it that hard at all. Turning that miserable, especially if you're going for tight movement. And no, like if you're a casual player, again, this won't actually bother you that much, unless you're like doing a specific movement in a game which requires you to move like that. That was it, yeah. And the last time I felt like something like this was happening is because the enclosure wasn't actually closed enough. Because I broke the enclosure. But the enclosure is perfectly fine in this. Even when the controller is screwed down, it still doesn't matter. This still happens. This is just like a fundamental error playing with the stick and the KB stick and the cables. Like, let's say I'm a beginner and I want to get Archive 17. I can't with this. Hell, I could probably manage a 16 with these. But at what cost? You're going to be pushing down hard on this stick. and you shouldn't have to. I mean, when I review these sticks and parts, I'm looking for not only high quality, but like I'm looking for stuff that lasts. To be fair, with a lot of plastic gears, you can make them last, but not if you have to exert this much force to get a turn right. It's not right. Aim because they feel really good. But you shouldn't have to push like that. This is a harder left, by the way, not a hard one. Pushing hard to the left. I'll do a few more because I actually want to get. I can't. Oh, this gonna get out of me. I can't. I actually can't get complete because for that door you need to do a hard left, get through it, and it doesn't feel right. It's very difficult to make that. Ooh, 30+17 there. It's very sticky. It's like, it's not sticky, but it's like pushing. It's like, let's say you're moving a cabinet and you can push it, but you lean your weight against it, it doesn't move, but then you have to give it that extra force. That's what this feels like. You're giving it that extra bit of force, but you're exerting. And you shouldn't have to do that. That time there was because I was sticking by the axe. This one is like barely complete, wow, I got a grenade out of that. That's crazy. I mean, it was good. That's the thing. This setup feels nice to play with. Very smooth, very fluid. That left half cranking isn't great. And it's something you just need to kind of come to get used to. Definitely see people tapping this out. It feels too smooth and consistent that you could actually, which kind of pains me to say that there's consistency in the setup because there is like a major flaw in it, which is hard pushing to the left. Oh my god, this is hard. Going right's fine, down feels good. Right, up, down, felt very good because they all the same consistency. And doing those light movements. As soon as you have to go left, you have to push harder, which completely throws you off, and it's something that you will have to acclimatise to, which is a big shame, because I really like this setup. I think it feels really good. The thoughts. I really want to say that this is my favourite out of the lot, but I can't for the simple fact that you have to push things to the left. It completely ruins your flow. Oh my god. This is what you see that when I went down the stairs there? That wouldn't happen normally, because that set of stairs is a very specific group of movements to stay as on the best line possible. And if your line's on right, you go down those stairs. Now, I've practiced this for many hours, this level, and even today, the fact that I'm still out of practice, I can still hit that line with relative ease. But that was an egregious error there. That was because I was trying to overcompensate. Then they shine at some point. So that movement into the end zone there was so good. So I managed to nail it then because I knew to just turn that extra bit harder. But this is the problem. Consistency needs to be key. And again, I think some people would really like this combination. I quite like it. This is like my guilty pleasure combination of the 6 that I've tested. 7 even. Wow, and then that movement left there was so nice. And then that alignment there was just so bad. Insane. Very, very interesting. literally is the best way to describe it. It's very not nice. I think this setup would be great for people. I really like it. I think for me, it's still like a 76, maybe a 76 to 79, just because of that hard left. Which is a huge shame because I actually really enjoyed playing with that. I mean, the setup feels so smooth and consistent. But that turn to the left, it shouldn't have to turn like that. It just pops up out of the enclosure a bit. Doesn't do it on any other angle. I think it's just the way it interacts with the gears. Just doesn't like it. Shame. But yeah, overall, I think they're perfectly acceptable if you don't mind that. But you might be tearing yourself. You might be tearing through a few bowls. But maybe not, because you're pushing it. Although you're pushing it in, you're kind of popping it up. But yeah, very controversial group, that one. Okay, so this is let's have a look. This is KB Bowl OEM Gears KB Stick. First impressions, feels very plasticky. I feel like there's like nothing there. Might like, might not like. Feels plasticky. Just feels weird. Little off center there. I can only imagine that's because of the bowl. The gears are pretty good. I mean, it's very. I personally don't like the feel of it. The range is kind of in the 70s for them. Was it right or down? Very boxy. I think that's very indicative of the bowl there, that shape. Maybe how the bowl was made. It's like a box. Let's see how we do here. It's not bad, actually. The ranges on that. Not the worst. I mean, it's suffering a bit on the right. There's a 75 there. You see what a white dot's supposed to be. The white dot is if you really want it to be there or above. And also on the down, you can see where the bit where it actually points out is a bit far to the right there. It's literally not the worst looking punch test. That's again a little bit skewed there, but you get the idea. The shape isn't perfect. But But then that's the thing. Doing all these kind of range just tests how far it goes in one direction. Doesn't show the proper quality of the actual things. It's all about the gameplay. Let's go on J. If we if we're doing train, then having the lack of lag that would actually be quite nice. Let's just start on the train. I think. Feels like the stick is really low down. And it looks thicker than the OEM stick. I know I keep saying this, but I mean, it might be the same type. Oof. Well, I feel like I'm really pushing on that stick there to get where I want to go. Not the worst, but don't really like. It's not definitely the worst though. Oh, those smooth, tighter movements are not great when I'm just slightly adjusting my movement. Very creaky in the middle. I think the combination of the materials the bowl and stick are made out of, it just is not great. Okay, oh my god, that's so sticky. That really doesn't feel very right. It seems to be kind of getting over the lines, but sticky when you're doing those fine movements. It's creaky. I mean, these are everything is lube with super lube. It's my lube of choice, just because it's so good. First tile, it'll make all your parts last longer. But this isn't like lack of lube. You only need a little bit of lube. You shouldn't be fucking gunking up your controller. Up and down feel okay. It's left and right feels really bad. Very nervous about those left and right movements there. So because of that, we're behind pace now because of the that stuff I got, which wasn't on a line that I actually wanted to go on, but I had to. You have to overcompensate for that stickiness right at the center of it. It's not very nice. Archive, of course. How can we test and not play archives, eh? There's like there's a bit of gap between the bowl and the stick. Ugh. I think that was just my bad gameplay there. That's not representative of what's going on. Okay, let's try this for real now. Oh, yikes. Really overcompensating there. Oh. That grindy stickiness is miserable. I don't like it. 18, but I think that's just due to my fucking skill on the level rather than the quality of the bowl. I mean, that wasn't a very good run. I mean, it feels like I'm really struggling here. Fucking hell. Did you see this movement is so bad? Doing those little snappy movements are not good. They don't feel comfortable. The left and right is bad on these. I mean, it's not the worst. I mean, it's something you could probably get used to, but I feel like you'll be not straining your hand, but you're going to have to be overcompensating a lot to deal with it, especially, you know, it's just something you're gonna have to get used to. It's something you would need to learn and adapt to out of the box. That was a good run. Difficult though. I felt like it was a struggle. I mean, got the 17, but I mean, it's the first 17 we've got with any of the combinations. I mean, the combination isn't bad. There is just a sense of that creakiness going left and right. It's up and down feels very smooth, incredibly nice. But left and right, it feels like the bowl maybe is either the bowl or the stick material at the bottom. There's something that's resisting against it. It doesn't feel great. It's not a smooth, fluid movement that you would expect. But still, you could play this out. You could play with using these. Again, great for casual speeders will need to get used to it. Speed runners, so I guess it just depends on like, do you want that sticky feeling? If not, then I won't recommend this combo. And I have a feeling it's the bowl. I think the stick is okay. It's just the bowl is a bit iffy. Oh my god. It's just not letting me get that movement that I desire, you know? It's kind of annoying that the most important movement you need to do, this combination kind of restricts you. Especially if you're playing 1.2, might be better on 1.1. Maybe the gears just need to be broken into. You know, I don't know. Not a fan. I'd maybe stick this in the low 70s, maybe the low 80s, because it's still alright. Maybe like 75 for these. Again, not the worst combination in the world. Very playable, but the stickiness going left and right is not something to be desired or sought after. I mean, it could be argued that I'm trying to like hold everything to such a high expectation, but I'm predicting a wave of different Nintendo 64 parts soon. And you're really going to make the choices here. It's going to be difficult. Not a fan. 75, maybe low 70s. I need to kind of mull over it, see how it stacks with the rest of the parts, and then go from there. Okay, so this is test number 7. Kitsch-Bent gears, Kitsch-Bent stick with the SS, the steel bar, basically steel stick, steel bar. First impressions. Feels very plasticky. But yeah, it's off center consistently. You can set that, but look, if I want the controller really. That's it. So that's good. 80, 77, 82. That's not bad. Definitely not the worst. Okay, let's just try that. I might just stop doing that. They don't really serve any purpose. Wow, look at that. 69 on left. That's a bit better, but it's wonky. Very wonky. Oh, what am I doing? It's wonky. It's not lining when it goes up. It's not like up properly. You know, I'll try and do it slower. And that's a bit better. I mean, that's the thing. Range wise, it's not bad at all. But we got some high 70s round, which could mess with the sort of the playing of it. So I'll just do another quick one. Just I'm just doing it how I always do it. That's a bit more. You said the down reading is dreadful though. In terms of it being just like centered and accurate, and that one was a lot better. The down left. So let's whack on some Golden again. Oh. I think like it feels a bit stiff. Like the worst thing ever. Something you could easily get used to, but doesn't have that smoothness that you'd like. That was sort of the scene. Let one start with quick movements.
Ooh.
Ooh, sluggy. Sluggy. Very sluggy. I mean, that first movement feels good. Maybe I'm overcompensating on that movement there or something because of the grindiness. God. Again, I feel like there is a significant amount of overcompensation here, but it's not the worst. I think this is something you could definitely get used to. Oh my God. Oh my God. I don't know if this is me or if this is just the setup. The setup doesn't feel particularly fantastic. But it's definitely not the worst by like a long shot. That was a lot better. That attempt was very good. I have a feeling my turning there is because of the way the God. That's interesting. Like a very slight clicking sensation, so if you press down to about here, there's like a clicking sensation, which doesn't feel great. I wonder what that's about. Well, that guy didn't even care. I'm trying to gauge how I feel about this because it's not bad, it just feels plasticky to play with. I find that with the Kitsch-Bent sticks, they are kind of have a plasticky-ness to them. A smooth one can be achieved with these, with the setup. Just on solo. I don't know what that clicky sound is, you know. I was all screwed up. Let's skip the cutscene. The turning feels a bit stiff. It just... Oh wow, that left turning is a ball out. It doesn't feel right at all. It's like I'm over. It's like I'm like having to really force out these moves. Could be anything, like the end. Yeah, it doesn't feel fantastic. But it's not the worst, that's the thing. Let's try a different flavour. Let's try some facility. It just doesn't feel precise, you know? Like, it's not... This doesn't feel like a precision combination, you know? it just feels sluggy, you know, the turns, it doesn't feel like smooth and nice, and you know, it doesn't feel smooth and nice as it should. Like, come on. See, that turn is like horrible. Yeah, I think with this combination from Little I've Tested, it's sluggy. I mean, I would say it's in the low 70s, maybe like a 72 to a 75, but I don't like the feel of it. I mean, you could definitely use this setup speed run with. I'm not saying that you can't do that. It just feels kind of sluggish. It feels plasticky. Quick turns that you would expect to be able to do, you just can't do them. So yeah, I think a low 70s is worth it. I mean, you know, if you just want to play normal Nintendo 64, it's perfect. If you want to start speed running with them, it's perfect. But in terms of like, if you want the best stick setup that you can possibly get, I can't recommend this combo. It doesn't feel right to me. Yeah. Okay, so last test of the Kitsch-Bent and set the Kitsch-Bent set. So we have the Steel Sticks bowl, OEM gears, and Kitsch-Bent stick. First thing that's worth like mentioning already. The that plasticky feeling is gone, which is just associated with the gears, I think. Although, you know, saying that, I do find that like this has happened on a couple of other tests as well, where it's like you push it far to the left and then you push it some more. You can just push it over the threshold there. I don't like that. It happened with a couple of other tests. I think it's the stick causing that. It's kind of like I don't know what that could be. Like maybe it's like the nub is a bit too like big or it's not angled properly, and it just means that you can just roll it further rather than you just having a full range of movement on nub. But let's just give it a test. I mean, it feels nice. Perfect. Look at that. The stick isn't causing any dead zone, which is very. Oh, hello. If you move it left and right slightly, you can cause a little bit. That's at the kind of extremes of the dead zones. Like, see, okay, this is what I mean. So you normal range 76, you can push it to like 84. Good, but that's hard. You're pushing the stick hard there. Again, around 78 normal, 82 down. Normal's like 81, 84. That's not that bad though. Okay, this is crazy. So it's about low 60s, 70, high 60s, 70s. You can push it to 87. And that's an insane range boost you can give yourself there. You shouldn't have to. If I'm pushing hard in every direction, you can get those extreme ranges there. Very odd. So this is me just casually pushing the stick. Like I normally would, oh, I'm playing Zelda or whatever, and just pushing stick. Left really suffers with this stick. Really, really badly, as you can see. Down, right, and up are okay. Again, I'm just gonna line it up. Just push a reasonable amount. I'm not like I'm just pushing normally, not so I'm like proper gouging the stick through like anything. That left result is bad. Like really bad. 60s are bad. Okay, this is now I'm gonna push as hard as I can push about like completely destroying my stick, but I know I'm giving it a pretty good bit of like push there. See, that is closer to what standard thing is, but look at it, 88 is very large. That is an extreme amount. You don't really want it past 85. But that's probably the closest. And well, you know, I'm gonna do it again quickly and just push kind of hardish. Again, that's much more suited to where it should be. That's almost OEM right there, which is kind of cool. So we have like a fair amount of pushing. 89 left. That's insane. I think that's too much. But at least if you give that little bit of extra welly, you can get those like good ranges. It's not, I wouldn't say it's bad, but it's not really great either. Especially if you have a lighter touch. I mean, this is just me pushing normally, not like before. This is just like a normal amount of push. You lose out heavily with the ranges of the stick, especially on the left and the up. Anyway, let's play some G. These obviously quicker out of the 3 regions. Now I'm really interested to play archives with this. Oh my god, that's odd. I don't feel too bad actually. Oh, but that angle was pretty bad. I'll try again. Oops. Why doesn't this open? Just, I don't know, there's something weird. It might be how I'm playing, but that first movement isn't great. It's like I can't. If anything, I'm turning left way too much there, which isn't a problem with like an all OEM setup. And right now, I underturned on purpose. I think you missed it. And I'm going for the safer 17 strat. You're not trying to get quick as you can. Like, I'm actually trying to kind of hit into the wall a little bit. Oh my god, it's kind of like there's an inner sensitivity and an outer sensitivity. The outer being that like extreme like 88, 89 range. That was a bit better, but again, I'm having to like either undershoot it or overshoot it to make it. It just feels awkward. Again, something you could probably get used to, but I don't like the fact that the ranges are so extreme between like just normal pressing and hard pressing. I mean, from like a health point of view, the amount you need to press to get that full range of motion is so hard that it just is not good for your hands. The last thing you want to be doing when you're speedrunning is straining. You want to be doing repetitive movements again and again for hours upon hours, you know, and that applies to like Smash Brothers, Mario. You're doing these tricks and these tactics again and again. The last thing you want is to have to be like pushing really hard to get consistent movement and pushing light to get consistent movement. And I know pushing light isn't exactly straining, but you'll be holding back on purpose, which may have a physical effect on performance. And I don't know, I find that, you know, when I'm doing the train locks at the end, because I'm making such small movements, I'm kind of tensing, and that tensing, you know, isn't great. I mean, you shouldn't tense if you're speedrunning, but it does say something about how, like, even if you're slightly uncomfortable, it can really kind of affect how you play. Solid 18 there. Got some silo. Again, when I'm pushing up down, I feel like I should be moving more. You know, I feel like I should be having that bigger movement there. But it's just because for the amount, I feel like I'm pushing hard normally anyway. Oh, no. It's feels pretty good this round. Definitely not like again, like, the run was pretty solid, but there is a distinct presence of having to... It's one rule for one push and another rule for another push. You know what I mean? It's kind of like I'm pushing hard left in one area, and the movement isn't consistent because sometimes you naturally push harder because the turn may be like bigger, just out of habit, and because the range isn't consistent with no matter how hard you push, it's kind of screwing. I don't know, it kind of screws your runs up because you're expecting it to behave in a certain way, and when it's not, it's kind of like it's not particularly amazing. Not the worst level. Most capable grenade from somewhere. But what I mean is, so again, it still stands. It's one rule for one push and another rule for another, where all pushes should be equal. It shouldn't be different about how hard you push. Like, maybe a bit of range variance of like 1 or 2, but not 20 points, not 10 points. Even 5 points can be a big difference. Overall, probably like a 79, just because of the variant. Actually, maybe 72, because it's difficult to say with this one because they feel fine to play with, but their variance is a big issue. Let's say 75, just because it feels okay. It doesn't feel plasticky, but you have that range variance. So this is test 9 again, just because I thought it was a little bit too good to be true, and it was. I actually had OEM gears in this. So this is OEM stick, steel bowl, Kitsch-Bent gears. Let me just check. OEM stick, steel 664 bowl, KM gears. So this is test 9 again. Very little dead zone. Well, there is a fair bit of dead zone to be fair. Initial impressions, it feels kind of plasticky. I think that plasticky feeling comes from the gears. It feels like, yeah, there's like a crispness to OEM parts. It feels smooth. These don't feel smooth. These feel kind of gummy. You know, in every direction, it's kind of like a gummy feeling. I mean, if you do prefer a bit of resistance to your stick, I like mine to be as smooth as possible. Again, it's on dead center. I'm going to skip that test because it's kind of pointless. Actually, no, it's not. This one isn't. So 79, 6, 79, and 75. Not the most fantastic ranges in the world. It's off center, but the shape is what you want. It's kind of just like a slimmed down version of the other one. I mean that is like that was a perfect shape. It was, if it was just like 5 to 10 more in every direction, it literally emulate a perfect Nintendo 64 stick. So yeah, it's quite amusing. I'm gonna try pushing it down as well, just like trying to get the most range possible. Can't kind of do that with these sticks. And if you're pushing, you know, you're almost getting perfect ranges here, which is kind of nice. Okay. So just picking up from test 9. Yes, let's try some GE out, see how we found. It just feels plasticky, sluggy and plasticky. Will I do the usual fare? Oh, right. What do we feel like? I just hate that plasticky feeling. And it's just like, I don't know. Oh, God. It feels, it's so much more sensitive than what it feels like it should be. Like, it feels so sensitive. Which is weird. I mean, the sensitivity is there, which is weird, but it feels, because of the materials it's using, it feels so sluggy. And like, oh man. Again, something you could get used to. God. Easier French. See, that turning is just so awkward. It kind of just looks like I'm playing badly, but I'm really not. It's just like a series of very quick movements that need to be completed. And... oh... I mean, I definitely feel like you could get used to these. See, look at that. That was much more smoother now. I've had a few kind of runs with it. Dude, that was a 17. That was a 17 ruined. But this is the thing, I'm really trying now. Do one more. I just hate that plasticky, sludgy feeling. I don't know. I'm maybe being a bit picky with these. When I went to the Brit meet, I know that Dan really liked the Kitsch-Bent parts, but that was with the full setup. I mean, with a full setup, I guess you could argue it's like, oh, you can get used to them, and, like, because it's all consistent with each other. It almost feels like the bowl is too good for the gears. That's adding that extra kind of sensitivity. Oh my god, it's kind of like it's sensitive and not sensitive. It's kind of like you expect it to not be sensitive, but it's so sensitive. Then other times where you expect it to be sensitive, you just don't get the range. Oh, this is just cringe. See, that whole section is a lot easier to manage if you're like laying down. Laying down, looking down. Again, not the worst setup. Definitely playable. Play some silos, see how we fare. Probably pretty good. I think this would be suited to silo this setup just because you need to be consistent with how you play and. But I'm not really convinced. Oh, see, moving through that just felt really sluggy. Not the worst time. 120 or something. not bad at all. Felt quite nice to play with, I do admit. I mean, I would think we're probably... I can't even play this level because I don't have my right button in. We're probably looking at maybe like a mid-70s for these. Maybe like a 78, just because they're quite good. Maybe an 80. I think an 80 is fair for this setup. Just for the fact that, like... I mean, it's kind of hard to kind of really go into any further depth with this. It just kind of plays the way it should play. Yeah, I mean, ramp was pretty good. I'll do one ramp hut. I'll do one more kind of hut attempt. That was weird. I would say maybe 79 for this. Just because the slugginess is something that doesn't really appeal to me. The plasticky feel of them, again, doesn't really appeal to me. The combo isn't bad. I would say you'd be hard pressed to find a replacement as good as this for this price. But for real, an actual like solid combo. Again, all the movement just felt really nice there. Yeah, I would say maybe 79. Actually, let's say 8 for this. Just because the plastic feel isn't great, the bloody dead zone isn't amazing. It's sluggy but sensitive. Don't know if I like it. But yeah, this is a solid bet. The price, you can't go wrong.